I feel like when you put the time and the energy into yourself after asking God for your desire, it'll happen. Hey y'all, welcome back to Respectfully C. It's been a minute, but I am back. So many good things have been happening, and I'm so excited to let those things out. Today, I kind of want to talk about alignment and how I know when God has showed up for me. I cannot speak for everyone, but I can speak for myself. And, you know, here we are, we're in this new year, 2024, and coming out of 2023 was nothing short of a blessing. So many doors were open for me in 2023, and I'm wanting to step a little deeper into those doors that were open for me in 2024. So yeah, alignment. So I want to talk a little bit about alignment because I feel like a lot of us are finding ourselves in alignment and not really understanding or knowing what it means to be in alignment. Basically, for me, I feel like alignment is right place, right time, whatever is going on at that moment, it feels right, the energy is right, everything is right. So for me, I feel like that's alignment. Also, we come to find out when we're in the midst of alignment, things line up. Like, for example, I went to a gym today. I've been wanting to try out a new gym for a very long time. And today I took it upon myself, thanks to a friend of mine, and I went to a new gym. So I'm at this new gym, and before I get in, she goes, "Oh, well, you get a 7-day free trial." So I'm like, "What? 7 days for free? Hell yeah." So then I get in, and I was a little bit skeptical and a little bit like, I don't want to be here because the gym was packed. First of all, the gym was completely packed. Um, I had nowhere to park. The space to park your car was literally this big. I ended up having to park clear on the back side of the parking lot next to a dumpster. When I walked in the door, everybody was there at the door, like just trying to get in, trying to sign in, whatever. I look out into the gym floor and it seemed like everybody was on something. Everybody was doing something. It was completely packed. Anyway, so I get into the gym and I get my workout in. I finish my workout. So as I go to walk around the gym, trying to explore and see, wow, like what's all in this gym and what's over here behind this door, y'all, I kid you not. A few months ago, I was looking into cryo massaging, or yeah, not cryo massaging, but cryotherapy. Sorry. And I kid y'all not, exploring this gym, I walked around and I found a cryotherapy room. So it was really dark in there, and I'm just like being nosy, and I'm like, I'm just gonna go in here and see what's on the other side of this door. I go in there, it's extremely dark, and there's 3 chairs. And with the 3 chairs, I'm like, oh man, I want to sit in and, figure out how to do this, whatever. This lady walks in behind me and she's like, hey, are you about to do the chairs? I'm about to do the chairs. And I was like, oh no, I'm just here on a trial. I'm just visiting, I just walked in here to see what was going on. And she goes, oh, well, I'll scan you in and I'll let you use one of my scans. I think you can use up to 3 a week. So I was like, really? Y'all, I sat down in the chair for a 15 minutes cryo session and it felt amazing. Like, I was like, oh my God, I got to come back and get a membership here because this is just like, that was it for me. I was sold. And I was sitting there thinking, like, wow, this is definitely alignment. The alignment for me was like doing what I actually want to do. I've been wanting to go to a new gym, so I went to the new gym. On top of me going to a new gym, I got 7 days for free, and I got a free cryo massage. Like, come on, this is definitely where I'm supposed to be right now. So that's my little mini example on cryo massaging and my little example of alignment. Basically, alignment for me is just being in the right space at the right time, and then another door opens, and then another door opens, and then another door opens. So that is what I mean by alignment. How do I know when God has shown up for me? Man, I don't know if you guys have ever had an epiphany, but I feel like I've experienced maybe one in my adult life, and it was when we're entering into 2020. Um, and actually, no, I've had like maybe two epiphanies, or maybe one was an epiphany, and the other one was kind of like I could feel my ancestors, or I could feel the warmth of someone coming over me and hugging me, but it was like physically, like they weren't, it was like spiritually, they weren't there physically. So, um, how do I know when God has showed up for me? Okay, so I would say, yeah, taking it there. Sorry, I lost my train of thought for a little bit. 2020, when I first started looking into astrology, at that very moment, I had just received the message that Kobe Bryant had passed away, and I was flipping through my Astrology for Dummies book. And so I'm, reading this book, and as I'm reading this book and I get that text message or that Apple News notification, I literally felt my heart shift over. And I know that sounds very, very weird, but it literally felt like my heart moved. And honestly, since then, our world has been definitely shifted from what it was prior to 2020 till now. I consider that a moment when I felt out that God was showing up for me, because growing up, I won't say I didn't have a relationship with God, but I didn't really understand church and God, and pray to something that I've never seen before, and that person hears me, he sees me, he watches over me. Like, I never fully understand that. So growing up, it was very hard for me to comprehend and grasp that concept of spirituality or religion, or however you want to see it. But then when I started tapping into astrology, that night, after getting the Kobe Bryant message and my heart shifting, and then continuing on reading, and then tears coming in my eyes, and my body literally heating up on the inside and having chills on the outside, I literally was like, oh my gosh, this is God for me. Like, this, not that it's God for me, but like, this is where I'm supposed to be. This is what I'm supposed to be tapping into at this moment. And from that moment on, when I have tapped into astrology a little bit, more doors have been opening up for me in that area. So a couple days, maybe months after that, I found like certain people, like my algorithm started changing via Instagram. And during that time, also in 2020, everybody was going live. So, I just kind of was tapping in and out and there, whatever. But my fear for 2020 kind of went away. Um, when March hit, I feel like we all kind of got under this umbrella of fear. And then by the time April came, April, May for me, my fear had gone. Um, the people, the energy, the algorithm I was tapping into, it was kind of letting me know that fear is not what I needed to engulf myself in at that time. And so I just followed that, and I began to stop tapping into the news as much and started really just like getting outside, touching some grass. My hair, I was shaved, um, almost bald. at that time. So like the sun was on my face. I was walking like 1 to 2 to maybe 3 miles a day. Um, I was engulfing my body with the sunlight for like more than an hour a day. And so I was eating really healthy. Like my whole perception of what 2020 was completely changed from a fear mode to a positive mode. And it was literally after I had that epiphany about astrology, and I had that feel of warmth after, I started tapping into that subject. So that's one way that I know that God showed up for me, because for a very long time I just questioned if He knew who I was, and I questioned, like, would He come save me? Could He hear me? Could He see me? Could He feel me? Like, I questioned for a long, long, long time, like, if the God that everybody else saw and loved and appreciated, and like, was that same God for me? I mean, I feel like God showed me in a way that He was for me by showing up for me that specific night and that specific time. I felt like it was kind of like, this is what you need to be doing. This is what you need to be tapping into. And, that's just how it's been for me ever since. Another way I know that God has shown up for me now during this specific time, I've seen certain manifestations. I have thought about, like, I've seen myself in places mentally, and now at this point in my life, I am in those spaces physically. And you don't really realize when a manifestation has come to fruition until you are literally in the midst of the manifestation. My job, but working out, my body, my health, just mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, financially. My finances weren't always where they are right now, and I feel like that's because of the kind of mindset I had, the fear I had for my finances, and my scarcity mindset, and my, oh, I can't do that, or oh, that's not meant for me, and oh, I'm supposed to be average, and oh, that's too much for me. I couldn't dare dream or fathom of that, or having that, or being in that position. And so, now that I'm in the midst of certain manifestations, I know that there are times when I've asked God to release certain thoughts from me. Um, and I'm seeing it and I'm living it. And I feel like when you are in the midst of a manifestation, it requires you to center yourself and really sit back and think, like, man, like, I thought about being here, and man, like, I've wrote about being here. I've voiced that I would be here, and here I am. Um, Another example I can give you is in 2010, maybe 2011. I was in my freshman year of college, junior college, and my very first spring break college trip, I went to Houston, Texas. And y'all, I promise, as I'm entering into Houston, when the 3-lane highway turned into a 5 or 6 lane highway, and I'm seeing the palm trees, and I'm seeing the cars, and I'm seeing the city, in my soul, I knew that I was going to live there. I didn't know how, when, any of that. I just knew, and I told myself at that time, I'm coming back here and I'm going to live here. Fast forward from 2011 to 2017, when I packed my bags and moved to Houston, Texas, and I lived there for 4 years. What are the odds? Like, what are the odds? You can't tell me that we don't speak our futures into our reality, if that makes any sense. when I'm working on what I've prayed for and I see the progression, y'all, just being here, talking to you guys and on this podcast, I've mentioned before, this has been a dream of mine. This has been something that I have been wanting to do. Being in this space, being somewhere where I feel like, man, I just want to talk and I just want to get myself out here so people can hear me and hear my side of the story and know that they're not alone. And the progress I have gotten to getting here, like y'all, I used to write down ideas, write down names of a podcast. I had a couple lives. I still have a couple lives on Instagram where I went live a couple times and then I got pregnant and I hid myself from the world because I didn't want the world knowing that I was pregnant. Another story for another podcast episode. But going from that to now sitting here putting out these episodes and being vulnerable and being authentic, progress, like progress, slow progress, and just seeing myself grow has been amazing to see. And that's another way how I can tell that God has shown up for me because I have invested in myself and I have been committed to myself. Maybe not as much as I should be, but I'm getting there. It's all about the progress. When I'm making progress or when you're making progress on your goals and your ideas, it makes you forget about the outcome. It makes you forget about the when is this going to happen. And you find yourself making it happen. So, yeah, man. Having people show up and invest in my journey, even when they don't even fully know me, lets me know that I'm in alignment and that God has shown up for me. Oh man, I can, now that I'm in this space, I could take it back. I could take it all the way back. Like, I can take it back years. Like, I grew up always learning, like, never burn a bridge or, you know, if you need to cut somebody off, okay, but don't burn the bridge all the way down because you might need it. But I never grew up learning that when people feel your energy and when people see your authenticity and when people see your excitement about your goal or see your excitement about where you are at that moment in life, God will send people to help you. Like, send people to invest in you. My whole setup right now is because someone chose to invest in me. I have been knowing this person that has been a part of this whole production for less than a year, and they've shared their knowledge with me. They've given me the hookups on certain equipment that's really good and not for a high price. Like, or even the lady earlier when I went to the gym, like, she didn't know me to scan me in and let me use one of her passes to sit in the cryo massage chair, but I was just so intrigued by where I was at. And I took it upon myself to be nosy at the right time. And, I have a lady that has been a part of my life literally since 2009. And the moment she met me, y'all, it was kind of like she just became a part of my life. She literally is an angel that was put on earth just for me. And I say this all the time. Like, the moment I walked into her home in 2009, she did not know me. She did not know my family. She did not know anything about me. And the connection we formed the moment we met was like, it was just meant to be. So when people show up and invest in you, I really truly believe they're God sent and they are placed here not just for you, but they're placed to help you get to where you want to go on your journey. And that is another way I know God has shown up for me because when God places genuine people in your life, Even the person that invited me to the gym today, like, she didn't have to invite me to her gym. All I asked was, hey, where you go to gym at? And she told me, and I was just like, hey, you got a buddy pass? And she was like, yeah, you can come. But she never had to say, hey, you she can go ahead and use my 7-day free trial. What? Are you kidding me? And y'all, the gym, I'm so sorry to take it back to the gym. The monthly pay is so much cheaper than what I'm paying now for one of my gym memberships. If you don't think I'm about to cancel that membership and join this other gym, that's exactly what I'm about to do. Because what? I can just go on and on and on about how God has placed people in my life that have invested their time and energy into me, their money into me, and I am just like, what? Like, where did this come from? How is this even happening right now? And it can only be God. It can only be God. It can't be anybody, anything else but the big man upstairs. That's it. That's all. Hearing people say they see something in me, which then pushes me to continue on that journey. Y'all, if I can count, I can count. You need to get a podcast. I would listen to you talk. You need to get a podcast. You got a podcast? You need to keep going to the gym. If you just keep going, like, just go. You'll be fine. You got talent in you. You want to take this course to further your education in this position so that you can go higher. Excuse me, what? Come again? What are you saying to me right now? How how is it that these people see all these things in me that I barely, or maybe not even at all, see in myself? God shows up for you and in many ways. And like I said, I'm just giving y'all a little bit of, or a little bit of examples of how I know he's shown up for me. And you take it how you want to see it. Being shown better for cheaper prices. I used to get onto YouTube and I used to look at these how-to videos, and I used to look at, you know, all these things, all these different videos about how to do this and how to grow this and how to start this and how to continue on with this. And the outcome seemed so far out of my reach. I felt like I had to spend $1,000 on equipment. I had to spend $1,000 on how I want to eat. I had to spend $1,000 on makeup because I did not know how to do makeup. But now I do. No, I do not have anything on right now. But I've learned how to do my makeup. Anyway, I think when you are in alignment, things come easy. And it's very hard to understand when you aren't centered and you aren't being able to realize that those things are happening for you. Like I said, this equipment that I've had to learn, I was very afraid of, you know, starting a YouTube channel because I thought I had to spend thousands of dollars on equipment. There's been multiple times when I wanted to sign up for certain things and I'm like, man, I can't do that because the monthly rate is way too much for me. But God brought someone into my life that was connected to something else that was right up my alley and right up my path to be like, hey, I can afford that. I can do this right here. This is what I can handle. When you are in the space that you want to be in, God shows up for you in all ways. Always. Always. And I cannot stress that enough. Mentally, financially, I needed a counselor. At the very beginning of 2022, I lost my son. And I was in grieving counseling, but it wasn't working for me. It was working for me, but like I tried to like find a counselor within the grieving counseling session because I knew deep down I needed to talk to someone one on one. I needed to find someone that could help me clear up wounds other than the wound that I have from losing my son unexpectedly. And y'all, when I say my counselor that I have now, right up my alley, I can afford her. I see her once or twice a month. She has helped me out in more ways than I can count. She's recommended things for me that has helped me outside of my counseling sessions. Being shown better for cheaper prices. Like, I, God works for you. When you go out and you want better and you feel like you want better and you know on the inside that it's time for you to change internally, also, your whole world outwardly begins to change completely. And you don't recognize it, like I said, until you're in the midst of a manifestation. Like, I've been wanting better for myself for years before 2020. And here I am 4 years after, and I am just amazed at my growth. I am amazed at what I have released over the past couple years. I am amazed at just what I've indulged in and been a part of. And like I said, I'm amazed at what I've been able to let go. If I'm trying and I don't find what I want, but I find what I need, man. So I have been trying to come out of my shell about astrology. Like I mentioned before, I just feel like that's just where I want to be, but I have been suppressing that feeling. I have been tapping into it a little bit, then tapping back out of it, and tapping into it a little bit, then tapping back out of it. And I've been suppressing my excitement and my curiosity for astrology and cosmology and astronomy and the stars and the planet and space and all those things. I've been suppressing those feelings because people around me aren't in the same boat as me, or when I mention it, it's kind of like you don't need to believe in that. It's just been kind of like it's not okay for me to be in that space. So I've been suppressing my excitement and my want, or should say my desire to study that specific topic. So a few days ago, I go to my city library because I'm like, man, maybe I can find some books in there, because now it's like, okay, I really want to buckle down and I really want to study this, because I know if I learn it, then I can help and I can teach and I can spread and blah, 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 blah. And so I go to my library and I'm asking, I'm like, hey, do you guys have an astrology section? Do you guys have, an occult section? And they're like, typing on the computer, and they're looking up and they're like, no, we don't really have that section. So I'm like, okay. Like, you don't even have one or two books? And they're like, no. And so then the guy comes up and he goes, well, we have something downstairs in our basement that might suit you, but you can't check it out. You have to read the book here. So I'm like, so I have to come in every time I want to read the book and it has to stay here. He was like, yeah, it's like an encyclopedia. You can't really check it out. So I said, okay, can I see that book? So he takes me down in this basement and shows me all the encyclopedias that they have and so on and so forth. So then he goes, well, we also have this section upstairs. It's not really, it might be what you're looking for, but it might not be what you're looking for. So I said, okay, show me that section. I go up there, y'all, and I'm going through the books and I find a book, y'all. It's not what I was looking for at all, but maybe when I picked it up and I read the about, I guess you can say, like, what the book is going to be about, I was like, man, you know what? This might not be what I wanted to look for, but this might be where I need to start, and this might be what I need right now. So I checked the book out. Um, I do have the book. I'm excited to get started. I've actually have started it. I might actually start after I get out of here. But I have one book that I bought, and now I have this book that I checked out. So I feel like if I study these two together, then, hey, something else might pop up, if I'm in alignment, another door might open and another door might open and another door might open. You get where I'm going with this? Okay, great. Um, being in places physically that I saw myself in mentally, that is another way I know that God has shown up for me. Like I mentioned before, like I have envisioned in my mind, I have seen myself in places, and now I'm physically in those places, like till this day or at this specific time. And I'm just like, whoa, 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 whoa. Like, okay, I'm getting it. Like this is how it goes. If I see it, I write it down, it's gotta happen. If I feel it, it's gotta happen. If I feel it, see it, desire it, it's gotta happen. If it pops into my brain, if it is circulating in my gut and I cannot let it go, it has to happen. Period. When it happens is no longer what I should be focusing on. And I think a big problem for me before my growth was focusing on the outcome and being so afraid that the outcome would never happen, to the point to where I was never starting what I wanted to start, and I was never I was never taking a risk to start so that I can actually get to an outcome. I was just focused, oh my God, when is this going to happen? This hasn't happened yet. What am I going to do? Oh my God, just living in fear. And y'all, I promise you, I was just talking to someone earlier today and I was like, man, like I have not felt anxiety since before Christmas, or like since last year. Like I have not I have not felt anxiety, maybe slightly, but like I feel like God has kind of lifted some type of burden or some type of thought or some type of fear that I've had. I just don't feel that anymore. And I'm so grateful. I'm so thankful because y'all, I have written down prayers. I've asked God to release things for me. I have focused on what I wanted to release and really tried to, like, if a thought comes up on something that I want to release, I've been like, I don't want to go down that road no more. Let's do this instead. Let's go over there instead. So I feel like when you put the time and the energy into yourself after asking God for your desire, it'll happen. It'll happen. And so, yeah, man, alignment, like, it's crazy because you never know what is right around the corner when you try. And so, yeah, comment down below, y'all. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Let me know, how do you know when God has shown up for you? And, let me know sometimes when you felt like you were in alignment. Or even if you're not sure if you've been in alignment before and you need a better understanding, comment down below so we can help you out and give you a better understanding in a way to where you can understand when you're in alignment, and you can understand or see when God has shown up for you in your life. Yeah, so that's my show for tonight, guys. Tune in next time. Tap the notification bell so that, you'll be made aware that I am back again. Make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. Till next time, mind your energy and drink your water. Respectfully, C.